seek help, embrace challenges, fixed mindset, talent based, flow state in positive, flow state in positive psychology, being totally absorbed and engrossed in some things. Flow state in positive psychology, being totally absorbed and engrossed. Flow, complete immersion, loss of self consciousness, time distortion, optimal experience, positive psychology, being totally absorbed and engrossed in something. Totally absorb and engross in something. Engross in something. The flow state in positive psychology. Complete immersion, loss of self consciousness. Being totally absorbed. Positive psychology means absorb and engross in something. Being totally absorbed. संपूर्ण ऑब्जर्व करते हो and engrossed in some things. Complete immersion भटते हो loss of self consciousness. There is self आत्मचेतना loss. Positive psychology. Time distortion. समय असुविधा optimal experience. Resilience. What is he referred to as the father of positive psychology? Martin Seligman popularized positive psychology. Were humanists and precursors, but Seligman is called father of the formal movement. Counselors need to focus on the nonverbal gesture of clients because the nonverbal gesture. Counselors need to focus on the nonverbal gesture of client because the nonverbal gesture should be commensurate with the verbal communication. Nonverbal gesture, feature, client. Counselor needs to focus because the nonverbal gesture means gesture nahi should be commensurate with the verbal communications. कल जगह not physics, only talking. Congress between verbal and non-verbal key incongruous signals hidden feelings को hidden करियो. Lying or conflict. Non-verbal often reveals emotional, not rational state. Not identical across cultures. Not identical. Non-verbal often reveals emotional. Counselor needs to focus on the non-verbal gesture. Verbal communications. Because the non-verbal gesture means with the verbal communications. A client who reverts back to old behavior pattern return, old behavior pattern, regressing, defense mechanism. Client who reverts back to old behavior pattern, regression, defense mechanism returning early. Client who reverts back to old behavior. regressing. Plan to reverse back to old behavior is regress. Regression means defense mechanism. Reverse back to old behavior. Return to earlier development stage. Behavior when stressed, repressing, pushing thoughts, unconscious, subconscious, projecting, attributing feelings to others. Back means regression. Reverse back. Regression. Which the following is not a core skill of counselor. Transference. Not a core skill of counselor. Rogers core condition. Empathy condition. Unconditional positive regard. Rogers core condition. Empathy, unconditional positive regard. Genuineness, transference. Clients, projection. This phenomena in therapy, not a counselor skills. Rogers core condition. Empathy, unconditional positive regard. Genuineness, transference. Clients, projection onto counselor. Core skill of counselor. Not a core skill of counselor. Not a. The core condition, empathy, unconditional. Also, empathy, unconditional positive regard. Empathy, unconditional positive regard. A person most likely to experience difficulty in coping with stressful situations. Experience difficulties in coping with stressful situations. Experience difficulties. She thinks that she has little control over the situations. She thinks that she has little control over the situation. Little control. Person is most likely to experience difficulties in coping with his stressful situation. Lazarus, Folkman's stress model. He has a little control over the situations. Difficulties with stressful situations. A little control over the situations. Actually, you should think that she has little control over the situation. Little control. Experience difficulty in coping with stressful situation. Low perceived control. Appraisal as threat. Poor coping. Positive outcome expectation. Social support help. Control over the situation. Difficulties. Most likely to experience difficulties in coping with stressful situations. Increase memory loss and confusion. Increase memory loss and confusion is a symptom. Alzheimer's disease means progressive dementia hallmark is memory loss and confusion. Depression can cause a pseudo dementia. What primary symptoms is mood, autism, increase memory loss and confusion, Alzheimer's disease, optimal amount of stress, optimal amount of stress that people need to promote their growth and well-being. Stress that people need to promote their growth, well-being. प्रमोट बढ़ाती ग्रोथ, ग्रोथ को बढ़ाते हैं प्रमोट. वेलबींग इज कॉल्ड यूस्ट्रेस, यूस्ट्रेस, यूस्ट्रेस इज पॉजिटिव. डिस्ट्रेस नेगेटिव हार्मफुल स्ट्रेस. पॉजिटिव बेनिफिशियल स्ट्रेस. डिस्ट्रेस and negative harmful stress. The concept that organizations are strongly influenced by the economic, social, and political forces of the environmental efforts. The concept that organizations are strongly influenced by the economic, social, and political forces. Open system approach. Open system organization interact with and affected by external environment.